We've shaken the cartridge in the air shaker for approximately 2 minutes. We'll remove the cartridge from the air shaker, and I'll show you how to install the static mixer onto the cartridge. This is actually a spray nozzle. We'll remove the retaining nut on the top of the cartridge, remove the capping disc, and the dual cap we're going to remove from the cartridge. You can actually grab the cap with the nut thread and pull that off. To install the spray nozzle, put the bell housing end of the static mixer onto the end of the cartridge and turn the nut clockwise to tighten onto the end thread of the cartridge. Tighten this hand tight. Alright. So to install the cartridge into the gun, we want to take and put the reverse valve into the reverse position, which is up. That'll, when you pull the trigger, it'll pull the drive rods back on the air gun. We want to hold the trigger in place. We're going to drop the tail end of the cartridge into the gun, seat the cartridge in the end of the cradle, leave go of the trigger. This will lock the tail end of the cartridge into the cradle of the gun. We'll take and attach the push to connect fitting on the end of the spray tip. At the base of the handle, we have the air regulator kit. This controls the atomization pressure. The on and off valve is this small valve here. At the bottom of the air regulator is a control knob, which we can adjust the atomization pressure. To start, I like starting at approximately 35 psi with the valve open and adjusting to 35. I'll close the valve, and we're going to go through a purge or a phase operation. Now we want to turn the valve on the tail end of the gun downward. That'll be in the forward push position. We have the air control at the tail end of the air cylinder, and this will control the push pressure of the fluid to dispense out of the cartridge through the static mixer. I'm going to start at a fairly low rate. You can back off the air regulator control knob fully and then turn in approximately 1.5 turns clockwise. We're going to take and phase the cartridge. We have this gun in the forward position. We're going to hold the cartridge at a vertical position, and we want to take the air out of the cartridge. So what we'll do is we'll tilt the gun so the air bubble comes to the nozzle, and we'll tilt it each way, and we'll just bump the trigger, and we'll get a little bit of material coming out of the cartridge, and we're actually going to tilt it the opposite direction, bump it one more time. So we'll take this initial purge of material. This is possibly an unmixed product. We're going to dispense into a waste container. We will take and dispense this material of approximately one full length of static mixer, and we'll dispense that. Now we know that right now that we have too high a push pressure, so I'm going to back off a little bit. At the tail end of this air regulator, we're going to go counterclockwise and drop that air pressure down. So we'll take another shot, and we can see that we've dropped the air pressure to spray, and we have a decent flow rate. You can adjust higher or lower if needed. Alright, so now that we got the material purged out of the cartridge and through the static mixer or spray nozzle, we're going to take and spray the surface. So we're going to turn the air valve on to its on position. We've adjusted to approximately 35 pounds psi with the valve open. Now we could take and spray the surface. I typically spray off to the side initially. Alright, and then once we have a little bit of material purged through there, we'll actually come and spray. Now, if the surface is slightly orange peeled, we may adjust up higher for the atomization. We could back off or get closer to the surface depending on what film build we're looking at, what surface texture. So I can see that my texture is a little bit orange peely. I'm going to adjust up to maybe 40, let's go to 42 pounds. So I'm going to take another shot at this.